Southampton, and then I just go and use the old ordinary made-up rigs and just go and cast the stuff out, sit there in my bivvy feeling like I was young again. It was wonderful.
So let's just go back to growing up through the 60s again, and you've already mentioned two great names, Jerry Savage and Jim Gibbinson. Jim Gibbinson was far ahead of his time down there, and is still an absolute great. What did you actually learn from him at that stage?
I remember watching him fishing in the at Alton Kirby in the spring, and we were still free-lining paste baits basically. We used to use, the first bait I used in the 60s was sausage meat and bread mixed up into a paste. And then we used cat food, kitty cat. Then we all started eating that and making ourselves ill, so we had to change into spam or luncheon meat or something. And I remember he was the first carp fisherman I see actually using ledger weights, was using anchored stuff and small baits with hook lengths. And then I think it was Kevin Maddox, we first sneaked up on him and saw him using the hair rig. And so we instantly all started using the hair rig down at Bisonwood and down in Faversham, and we're taking loads and loads of fish. That was the thing that really transformed fishing. It made carp much easier to catch, which was a shame really, because we weren't elite anymore.
Well, I've been fishing 30 odd years for carp now, and I think to go out of it and come back into it must be quite daunting when you see all the different bits and bobs that are available now in comparison to what there was before. The theory is the same.
Yes, the theory is the same, but it's so confusing what to do. I like the rods I've got Rod Hutchinson's rods, and I use bait runner reels. I can't use the big pit reels. And I watch the guys, Danny and Ali, on the television and thinking maybe I should be doing that. But I think maybe I should just stick to doing what I know, and that's good old-fashioned carp fishing. It's just back to basics. Find a place where there's some fish and try and catch them. It doesn't really matter if you don't catch them, does it? As long as you're looking cool, you know what I mean, with the camouflage reel.
So what's next in the world of Jim Davidson on the fishing side of things then? You're getting back into it now.
Fishing side of things, I'm going to have my first 40 this year, definitely. And me and my other nutty mates, so I'm going to France for the first time this year. I don't know where I'm going yet. I've got to try and book something up today. But I'm going to have a week in France, me and Chris Tarrant and a couple of others. It's good to go fishing with Chris Tarrant because you suddenly realise you don't drink that much after all. So I'm going to try a bit of that this year. And I'm going to have my first 10-pound tench this year. I've decided I'm going to do it. Because I'm getting on a bit now, and I don't want to go to heaven and say to myself, I wish I had spent more time working. I'm going to get there or down there and say, I wish I had spent more time getting some fish on the bank. Or without what we used to do, me and my mate, we used to go all over the place fishing. We cast out and then bugger off to the nearest pub, come home, absolutely, legless, sleep through in your bivvy with your baits reeled in, fish for 2 hours in the morning and then go to the pub again. It's great.
Nothing's changed now.
Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed. There's still quite a few things. Well, we've got heckling about. Has anybody got any questions for Jim? Actually, it's a lovely opportunity to have him down. Can you come on Thinking Tackle? What a complete and utter shameless plug from the side of the stage there.
I tell you, I live down in Hampshire now. I used to live in Dubai, where I went out fishing. It's sea fishing. There's nothing more boring than sea fishing. And I live on the River Test. My back garden finishes there and the River Test is there. And so I live in a world full of trout fishermen who look down at us as if we're all Jeremy Kyle's fodder. They're the sort of, we're sort of Lidl's people to them. No offence to anyone who shops in Lidl's or ambition to go on the Jeremy Kyle show, or if you're wearing Ugg boots, no offence, but they're so up their own, they're full of themselves, aren't they, trout fishermen? Has anyone here, hands up, anyone who's tried to catch a trout on a fly? Anyone had a go? It's the easiest thing on earth, isn't it? And they won't have it, oh, carp, no, you have to have all those electronic things and you have to smell a bit. Well, you're quite right too. And so there's that. The other problem, I think, is the biggest problem that I've had with fishing, and it's getting on my nerves, is signal crayfish. I don't know what anyone's done about that. I don't know what can be done about that, but I know they drive you mad. And I know that infestation and predators are a big problem for all of us. You know, down on the River Test, we have otters running around just dragging fish up and leaving them, you know, dead. We have cormorants. I think that is the biggest problem that's going to happen to fishing in the next few years. Unless the government get a grip of it, we're all going to be scratching our heads. And next year, we're going to be here at the Pigeon Fanciers Club. Because fishing, there'll be nothing to bloody well fish for unless someone does anything. So I applaud Tim Paisley and the boys and John Wilson for attempting to do what they're going to do. I think we should all take our bivvies and go up to where they've just moved all those people off of St. Paul's and go there. If they think them hippies and lefties are bad, wait till they see a load of pissed carp fishermen on their doorstep. I think that's the way forward for me. Action, brothers, action!
Well, there you go, you heard it here first, that's absolutely right. Jim, I'm just enthralled with what you're saying here now. I'm almost stuck for questions because you're so good at talking to everybody. Yeah. So tell us some stories. Come on, entertain us, mate.
Who wants to ask? I'm not telling you any. Do you want this place shut down? Who wants to ask me a question? Right, thanks.
Now, just in case, I'll put a caveat on now. And we're always very, very well behaved down here anyway. But if anybody hears any words that they don't understand,
I've got a question. If you ever look around the stands, they've got the most scientific, the most neutral, well, they have some of the greatest food in the world here for fish. It can give a fish its complete diet in 2 mouthfuls. It's completely balanced, it's got the right nutrients, it's got the right vitamins, it's got the right minerals. And then there's the hot dog stand. How come my mate reckons the fish are being better fed than we are here today?
Mate, you're absolutely right.
You got a question over there? What's your question, mate?
Where are we? Let me wander down.
About that big.
Let's have a wander in.
Go on, here he goes. So, and I'm sorry, I do wear glasses. It's the old headmaster's warning finally come true.
I just want to ask Jim what his personal best is.
My personal best, I'd have to say Leslie Ash. Yeah, well, amongst them, no. Bless her. My personal best is that one. That's 34.8. I tried to shake that thing down as much as I could. I remember I had a 29.10 once, and I thought about throwing some rocks down its mouth. How are you, mate? Excellent. How's the rest of the band? Shame about Freddie Mercury, wasn't it? I loved it. No. Yeah, 34, but I think I can do better. I had a bigger one. You'll see me in the water in a minute. My mate said you've got to get in and get it. That's somewhere else. Look, oh, they've done. Yeah, I'm sure the biggest fish I caught, I didn't land. It wrapped me around a rhododendron bush. It was a huge big fish, and I think I can catch a better one this year. You just got to put in the rod hours, that's all. You'll get them in the end.
Right, come on then. Any other questions? We're gonna have some funny stuff. Frank Warwick wants to know, do you want to go to Romania with him and fish over there?
Romania?
Yeah.
Yeah, who wants to go there?
Frank? That's an invite from Frank Warwick. Sorry.
I quite fancy going to Thailand. I don't think my wife would like me coming back there smelling a fish though. As you get around that one. No, I'm going to go to France this year and find a nice lake somewhere where there's a toilet and a wine bar down the road and a house of horizontal refreshment with a bit of luck. Yeah. Stop making in, I'll get you in a minute.
Right then. Oh, we're having some fun with this one.
Bloody hell, there's fish in here. I didn't know there was fish in here.
Right.
Years ago, Jim, you paid one of our friends to leave a swim so you could fish it in the school pool. Just how much would you be willing to pay now to let them move swim? And also, have you got any good stories about your days at the school pool?
I never understood a word of that, did you?
He's from Kent, mate. Any good stories?
I'll tell you how I got to fish the school pool. I went down. I was doing summer season down in Margate with Peters and Lee. And while everyone was off messing around going to parties, I'd be getting my gear ready in the dressing room and going off to fish the school pool. And what I did, I met a bloke there called Trevor Waters, who was a member, and his daughter was ill. She had spina bifida or something. She's in a wheelchair, and the council wouldn't build a wheelchair access to his house. So me and Roy Wood and Denny Lane and a few put on a big concert at the Winter Gardens, and we gave them 18,000 quid to build the house, and I got a free membership to the school pool. And my best story ever, the biggest fish in the school pool in Faversham was a fish called she. Anyone ever heard of that fish? Remember she? Well, my mate Del caught she, and he hit it, and he said, I think this fish is she. And I said, how can you tell? He said, well, what she does, she comes in to about 2 rod tops out, hugs the bottom and goes up and down the swim. That was her game. And he got it in, and she was 38.5 pounds. And I took all the pictures, I filmed it as well, and I took all the pictures on my camera. I was trying to remember which wife this was. Nice woman, she was about that high. Julie, that was it. And I remember saying to her, can you take, I said, I can't get the film out the camera won't open, can you take it down the camera shop, and if they have to smash the camera, get the film out. And so they smashed my camera, and they said there's no film in it. So Derek Waters caught she on that day. I took 30 photographs of it, a whole reel of imaginary film, so he hasn't got a photo of his personal best fish. I won't tell you what he called me, but it sounded like currant, what you put in a cake. So there, that's my only story of the school pool. I don't think I ever caught any fish from there, to tell you the truth. Lots of barbecues and stuff like that, but no fish. There you go. Right, can I go now?
We'll have another 10 minutes.
Okay,
we'll have another 10 minutes.
I've run out of interesting things to say now. Can I tell you my joke? This is a real good old-fashioned joke, okay? It's a man goes in a pub with a monkey. You know this joke? Right, and he puts the monkey down on the counter, and the monkey's running around, and he picks up some popcorn and eats it, picks up some peanuts and eats it, and everyone said, oh, isn't that lovely? And the monkey then runs and jumps on the pool table, picks up the cue ball and swallows it. Anyway, the bloke buggers off with the monkey, and he goes back 3 weeks later, puts the monkey down on the counter, monkey runs along, and it gets an olive, picks up an olive out of a saucer, puts it round his bum like that, and then eats it, and everyone's going, Bloke said, listen, I don't mind the monkey messing around, but why did he just get that olive and rub it round his bum and then eat it? He said, well, ever since that snooker ball, he sizes everything. That's my cleanest joke ever. Oh! Someone's been asking me to sign a book that Kevin Maddox got me to write back in the 80s. It's called Jim Davidson Gets Hooked. It's the most unfunny book I think you've ever read. It was funny in those days, and we used to fish down Bisinwood, which was another one of Faversham's lakes, loads and loads of fish there. And we used to have this bloke who was a bit of a nutter, really. He wasn't a good fisherman, so we used to bugger him up quite a lot. While he was asleep, we'd take the pegs out of his bivvy and turn it round 180 degrees and peg it back in, and then we'd toss a little Arsley bomb over his line and give it a bit of a pause. Beep, 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 and see him go for where he thought the entrance to his bivvy was. It was like a Tom and Jerry cartoon. We used to do all tricks like that. It was fabulous.
Well, I've seen a few copies of that whizzing around today as well. It's always nice to have a book about fishing. Give us some other memories from the writing of that book as well. Let's go back in time again.
I just decided that we all probably got the same sense of humour. I remember fishing years ago up at Waveney Valley Lake, so I did a couple of weeks up there where Derek, funny enough, he caught big scale. Big scale was the fish at Waveney Valley, and he caught that. You'll notice it's always him catching the big fish and me trying to take pictures of it. And I remember everybody used to use the same rods, the same stuff, had the same sense of humour, drink the same beer, and everyone liked Dire Straits. It was quite amazing. And I was thinking today, looking round at the commercial prospects of writing a real funny book. Tim's written a brilliant book, and of course Rod's books are legendary, but I think I might write a book about what a crap fisherman I am. To give everyone a bit of a, think, well, if Davidson can catch a carp, being a rotten carp fisherman, then we've all got a chance. I might have a go at that next year.
Well, I think we'll all look forward to that. Well, where are we going to go? Let's have a look at I want to touch back on the topical issue of otters, because I know we've looked at it already, but let's get a little bit serious now. We've had a bit of fun. Otters are seriously damaging our fish stocks.
They are,
aren't
yeah.
And as much as we scream until we're blue in the face, we need to have numbers, and we need to have people supporting us on that. Now, you've very, very kindly told everybody what they've got to do. Let's get on board with it. What can you say to people? What can we do to support this cause?
Well, the hardest thing to do, I think, is awareness. You know, a Predestation Action Group, I think, ought to be subtitled Predestation Awareness Group, and let people know, like my mate Mark, who doesn't go fishing and doesn't really care that much about it. Most people care about the environment. Unfortunately, otters are quite pretty, aren't they? But they're also very dangerous. And this is a man that's had 5 wives, so I know about pretty and dangerous. I think it's just